This is a really cool design, but is it a good Android phone? Let's check it out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm checking out this. This is the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5 Android smartphone, and I kind of fell in love with it in a lot of ways. It's a really cool design, just to answer that question right off the bat. So it has a full-size screen on the front, and then when you open it up, then you have a full-size Android display, just like you have on your current Android phone, probably. And again, all you have to do is close it, and it goes into a sleep mode with an always-on display that's showing the time and battery level and number of notifications and the date. And of course I can just push, and that's actually, this power button is also the fingerprint scanner. So I'm actually unlocking it by doing that. And then you can get to different apps and do different things while it's unlocked, which is cool. But of course, the real fun is when you open it up and you can actually have the full screen. But it also has modes like this. So if I unlock it, let's actually unlock it, show you what happens, is I can go into a mode like that where I might be watching a video on this screen and interacting with the content on the lower half of the screen. One thing that's really important is when you open it up, it is fully flat. And then when you close it, it closes fully. This does mean if you get dirt or anything in the middle, that could have a deleterious effect on your screen overall. But as long as you keep it nice and clean, you hopefully won't have any issues. Now, I did an unboxing video, which you probably want to check out to find out everything that was in the box. But let me go through the specs again, and then I have a ton of demo photos and video content, because I know that's a lot of what people like to look at. So, the front screen is, let's get this back into this bright display mode. The front screen is a 3.4-inch cover screen at 720 by 748 pixels, and then you open it up, and it's a 6.7-inch main screen at 2640 by 1080, and it's powered by a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 octa-core with either 256 or 512 gig of storage and 8 gig of RAM, so plenty of storage. Android 13, Bluetooth 5.3. Unfortunately, it also comes with all the Samsung apps and the Samsung UI on top of Android 13, so it does have a slightly different flavor than if you were running, say, a Google Pixel. But it's pretty easy to get used to. Now, dual SIM capable, and then the rear-facing cameras, there's two of them, one of which is a 12 megapixel wide-angle f1.8, and the other is a 12 megapixel ultra-wide f2.2. A little slower, but it's a wider field of view. And then front-facing, let me bring up something so you can maybe see. Let's launch an app. Here we go. So you can see here, there's a little punch out here, and you see it in the close-up too, and that's the front-facing camera. And that is a 10 megapixel wide angle f2.2. Now, there's more I want to talk about, but let's just jump right into photos, and then we'll jump into video. And no, I've done most of these with a tripod, so most of these are not handheld. First shot here is a wide angle, and then we go to 1x, 2.5x, and 5x zoom. The zoom breaks down a little bit, but still, it's pretty darn cool. I'm going to show you two different selfies. This one is just a regular selfie that was taken with the phone in its normal, I guess, horizontal orientation. And then this one is actually a selfie I took while it was in folded mode. So of course they're using the same camera. I just wanted to show you that it sort of automatically compensates for the orientation of the camera. Macro, super cool. I'm really very impressed by this photo. And then night mode was fantastic. So I've done a lot of night mode photos with like Google Pixels, and they can take up to 5 minutes to capture an image. The longest image captured here across these different photos I'm showing you was 6 seconds. And this one of my house is beautiful. I could use this in a real estate listing. It's very, very attractive. Now, let's switch to video, because video is even more fun. So here's 1x video, 2.5x video, 5x video, a selfie. This is a sample selfie video, and I am under a bridge with water running behind me. So there's a lot of environmental and background noise, but hopefully you can still hear me pretty well. As you can see, the camera's doing a nice job either way. Slow motion video footage, time-lapse video footage, and finally, an example of director mode. This is an example of what Samsung calls director mode, and I'm seeing both the image being captured from the selfie cam, and I'm having a chance to use the other camera and move around and capture this video, which is pretty fun, actually. It's a pretty cool effect. All in all, I think these are really very impressive. This is so much to go for this phone. And of course, Samsung has been doing generation after generation of not just their phones, but their flip phones. This is their 5th generation flip phone, which means they've had a lot of practice figuring this out. The hinge is actually really, really well done, and it's just a very smooth motion, and you can stop it at any point. If you wanted to have your phone sitting like this, you can do that. That's totally fine. And of course, if you're using it in that sort of viewing angle, you can do any angle and it will just sit exactly in that spot. Or you can close it all the way, and then on the very edge, it actually just has Samsung emblazoned on it. I suppose at some point, maybe the Flip 17, this will be a tiny screen too, but until then, I'm not sure you'd really need that, but you know, they'll probably come up with that. So, a couple more specs to talk about. 3,700 milliamp hour battery, up to 35 hours of talk time according to Samsung. Qi fast charging 2.0, so it does wireless charging with the back here, and it's the faster generation of it, which is good because it doesn't have a great battery life. So they say you'll get a 50% charge in 30 minutes when you plug it into the USB-C on the bottom. But my experience is that I often use the phone and then put it on standby and then go do something else for a day. And I have some phones where it's kind of eerie that 2 weeks later, it'll still be at almost a full charge. So their standby mode is super efficient. This one is not that phone. So if you have this phone and you just close it up and put it on the side table while you go for your run and then your evening activities, and then you sleep and you wake up, you'll have lost a significant percentage of battery life. So that is something that a lot of people have commented on, is that the phone's really cool, but one of its limitations is it probably could have had a bigger battery, or it could have had a little bit more efficiency in terms of how it utilizes that energy to stretch out your battery life. Now, truth be told, modern phones are really all about charge every time you can. So if you're near a Qi wireless charger, then you're going to just want to drop that on, and even if you can eke out 5 or 10%, hey, that's 5 or 10% charge, right? So that's a benefit. Now, one of the other things I want to give Samsung props for is that this is also a 5-star eco score. So the packaging, the phone, the way they designed the whole thing, the way they packaged it all is very eco-friendly, which is important. You know, you can see the box. This is literally the height of the box. You know, it used to be you'd get these big boxes with little devices inside, and now they're really trying to minimize that because, number one, they can ship more. It's much more efficient to actually move them around. But number two, it's much more environmentally friendly. So really big props to Samsung. And, you know, in terms of assessing this phone, I really, really like it. In fact, what I have said to people when they've been looking at it is, I would absolutely, no thought involved, go and buy an iPhone that had this feature, because I'm kind of more of an iPhone than an Android person at this point because of the ecosystem of Apple products. But this is really one that made me think twice, because it is really cool. And when you get notifications and stuff on this screen, make it a little bit more interesting, it's actually pretty cool. And you can change what's on here, and the notifications can lead you to apps, and you can do photos, all without opening up your phone, which means that you have something that's just much more easy and compact to work with. And that's really nice, because a lot of phones are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And one of the phones I most recently reviewed was actually the Pixel Fold, which was, if you imagine, two of these phones, right? And another one next to it, and then it folded and it opened up. And that just felt like too much screen real estate. If I wanted that much screen real estate, then I would go ahead and just get a tablet. But this gives you a regular size Android phone, and it's just a size that everyone's used to, but you can fold it in half, and now you have this entirely different way of interacting with the system. Very cool. Now, not much else to tell you. It has a typical power and volume up and down buttons on the right-hand side, and then on the bottom, it's USB-C for charging. It includes a USB-C cable, which you would have known if you would have checked out my unboxing video. And that's it. So that's everything there is. So on the plus side, the design is fantastic. They've done a really great job of implementing the screen and everything. And it feels, there's a little bit of a feel of a fold, but generally it's really close to being seamless. And of course, the whole idea of being able to have that extra screen is super cool. So lots to like here. It's a little spendy and it's a little bit weak on the battery side, but there's a lot of pros that compensate for that. So definitely one worth checking out. Now, we do need to talk about the price. So before we get to the price, I'm going to ask if you could subscribe to my channel. Click or tap on that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you found this to be interesting and informative, and we can be connected. Great. This, let me again get back to that other screen. This is the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5 Android smartphone. It's a loaner from AT&T for me to be able to do this review. Thank you, AT&T. And it comes in, let's show you the back here. It comes in mint, graphite, lavender, and cream. This is graphite, AKA black. And it is $999.99 or $27.78 a month for 36 months at att.com. There are other places you can pick one up and you might be able to find different pricing, but since AT&T sent me this, I'm going to promote their pricing. So really so much to like. A little bummed I have to send it back, but you know, that's how it goes with these loaners. So one to definitely check out. If you're in the market for a new Android phone, this is definitely one you want to check out, especially if you're already into the Samsung ecosystem. And there's a lot going for that too. That's all I got. I'm going to go back to my phone, so I have to catch you in my next video.